For the headlines, U.S. President Donald Trump's friend and advisor Roger Stone calls claims of collusion with Russia a witch hunt. President Trump denounces threat against Jewish institution and attack on Indian immigrants in Kansas. President Trump push to end Obamacare gets biggest cheer of the night. Plus, EBC Florida takes us to America's favorite romantic town. You are watching Eagle News, Washington, D.C., bringing you stories from around the nation. I am Sarah Nachman. Longtime friend of President Donald Trump and Republican operative Roger Stone declared he did not collude with Russia to hack into Democratic Party emails to try to sway the November 8th election.
Both during the campaign and for a number of years, I have had no contact whatsoever with Russian intelligence, the Russian state, anybody who might be fronting for the Russians, anybody in Russia, anybody with a Russian last name. Absolutely, positively not.
Stone said he was also surprised to learn that U.S. intelligence may have been monitoring his communication for more than a year.
Now, I was startled to read 2 days ago, according to The Guardian, that the FISA court approved a secret warrant to monitor my communications over a year ago. If that's true, they might have my grocery list, they might have my emails back and forth with my wife, but I'll tell you what they don't have. Any evidence that I spoke to any Russians during this campaign. This is a witch hunt. This is the new McCarthyism. If you're not for war with Russia over Syria, well, then you must be a traitor to the United States. You must be in league with Vladimir Putin.
Stone insisted there is no proof that he has had contact with the Russians.
I can sleep at night because I know that there's nothing in my records that would be troublesome for President Trump or for me.
Last week, Trump criticized the FBI on Friday for failing to stop leaks on national security information to the media and directed the agency to find those who pass on classified information. Stone said both Republicans and Democrats who were seeking a war with Russia over Syria could be behind the leaks.
Neocons, who have dominated both parties through the Bushes and the Clintons, yes, I think they're down for war. As Glenn Greenwald wrote in The Interceptor, Hillary had promised the Pentagon and the boys at Langley an expansion of the proxy war in Syria. And now they're not getting that because Donald Trump, as it turns out, was the peace candidate. Yes, he favors negotiation and perhaps détente over war. So, you know, he has a tough road ahead. I've said that I think his greatest problem are not liberal Democrats, but establishment Republicans. They need to get with the program. If you appoint people to White House jobs who are loyal to you, you won't have any leaking problems. Appoint establishment Republicans with no loyalty to your presidency, and this is what you get. Go to bed with dogs, wake up with fleas.
Stone is a former Trump advisor and longtime confidant of Trump. He left the Trump campaign in August 2015. Stone has recently written a book called The Making of the President 2016, How Donald Trump Orchestrated a Revolution. As President Trump prepares to address a joint session of the Congress on Tuesday night, Stone suggested that Trump follow the lead of former President Ronald Reagan and set an upbeat, positive, optimistic tone. As for the job President Trump is doing in office, Stone said he would give the president a B+.
I think he's doing great under very difficult circumstances. He's not a career politician. I think he's lonely. You know, his wife and his family are in New York. This is a tremendous sacrifice for him.
Since his inauguration last month, Trump has signed a flurry of executive orders, pulled the United States out of a Pacific trade deal, and nominated a conservative judge, Neil Gorsuch, to fill a vacant position on the Supreme Court. But this time, he is also characterized by missteps, internal dramas, and acrimonious disputes with the news media, and he has yet to score any legitimate accomplishments. U.S. President Donald Trump began his speech to a joint meeting of Congress on Tuesday with a condemnation of the recent attack on Jewish cemeteries in St. Louis and Philadelphia. Myla Simbulan reports.
About 100 headstones at the Jewish cemetery in Philadelphia were vandalized and knocked over last weekend. It was the latest in a string of vandalism incidents at Jewish schools, synagogues, cemeteries, and cultural centers.
Citizens of America, tonight, as we mark the conclusion of our celebration of Black History Month, we are reminded of our nation's path toward civil rights and the work that still remains to be done. Recent threats targeting Jewish community centers and vandalism of Jewish cemeteries, as well as last week's shooting in Kansas City, remind us that while we may be a nation divided on policies, we are a country that stands united in condemning hate and evil in all of its very ugly forms.
Last Wednesday, Srinivas Kuchibotla was killed and Alok Madasani was injured at Austin's Bar and Grill in Olathe, a Kansas City suburb. U.S. Navy veteran Adam Purinton, 51, has been charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder for the shootings. The FBI said on Tuesday the incident will be investigated as a hate crime. For Eagle News, I am Myla Simbulan, and I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Myla. Coming up, President Trump's push to end Obamacare gets biggest cheers of the night. Plus, EBC Florida takes us to America's favorite romantic town. Eagle News Washington, D.C. will be right back. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump on Tuesday called on Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare in a speech to Congress, earning the biggest applause of the evening. Trump said repealing and replacing Obamacare is inevitable.
Obamacare is collapsing, and we must act decisively to protect all Americans. Action is not a choice, it is a necessity. So I am calling on all Democrats and Republicans in Congress to work with us to save Americans from this imploding Obamacare disaster.
He said reform should lower the cost of health care and ensure people with pre-existing conditions have access to coverage.
Mandating every American to buy government-approved health insurance was never the right solution for our country. The way to make health insurance available to everyone is to lower the cost of health insurance, and that is what we are going to do. First, we should ensure that Americans with pre-existing conditions have access to coverage and that we have a stable transition for Americans currently enrolled in the health care exchanges. Secondly, we should help Americans purchase their own coverage through the use of tax credits and expanded health savings accounts. But it must be the plan they want, not the plan forced on them by our government. Thirdly, we should give our state governors the resources and flexibility they need with Medicaid to make sure no one is left out. Fourth, we should implement legal reforms that protect patients and doctors from unnecessary costs that drive up the price of insurance, and work to bring down the artificially high price of drugs and bring them down immediately. And finally, the time has come to give Americans the freedom to purchase health insurance across state lines.
He proposed tax credits and expanded health savings accounts for people to purchase health insurance. EVC Florida takes us to America's favorite romantic town. That's next. Eagle News, Washington, D.C. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News, Washington, D.C. EBC's Colleen Knight shows us around St. Simon Island and gives us tips on the local scene. Take a look.
Hi y'all, we're on St. Simon's Island, a popular spring break destination. The island itself is only about 18 square miles, but it seems to really have a lot to offer. We're going to take a look at the usual tourist locations, as well as see if we can find a few of those local secrets. Alright, let's head out and see what we can find. We're at Fort Frederica, one of two British forts that was on St. Simon's Island during the colonization era. Today we actually came at a lucky time because there's the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Celebration going on. So let's take a look around and see what we can find on the streets of Old Fort Frederica. A popular mode of transportation on St. Simon's Island is riding a bike. The waters of St. Simon's Island can range from being chillingly cold to refreshingly cool to bathwater warm, depending upon what time of the season you come. So make sure you plan your trip accordingly. So once you're exhausted from all the hustle and bustle of the touristy areas, there's a really tranquil park at the north end of the island called Frederica Park. And here they have a playground, some nature trails, and most importantly, a nice little area for your puppies to play. I've managed to show you only a fraction of the things that you can do here on St. Simon's Island. This place has so much more to offer. From kayaking and paddleboarding to disc golf and putt-putt to art galleries and even live theater. You could spend a day here or an entire week exploring. There truly is something for everyone. And for the foodies out there, the food here is absolutely amazing. And there's more than just seafood. I encourage you to try out all of the options. From St. Simon's Island, I am your EBC correspondent, Colleen Knight, and I am one with 25.
What a charming island with beautiful things to explore. Perfect for the whole family. Thank you, Colleen. And finally, for those of you financial savvy people out there, great news. Snapchat's IPO is here with the stock symbol SNAP. The parent company of Snapchat, Snap, is valued at $24 billion after IPO pricing at $17 per share. The market is definitely going to be buzzing with this IPO. And that is today's Eagle News Washington, D.C. Join us again next time as we bring news that matters to you. Visit our website at Eaglenews.PH. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. I am Sarah Nachman, and I am one with 25.